Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were caught arguing. Let's dive into this and more MCU fights that have happened over the years that you might not have heard of before. Here are some MCU actors who hated each other. First, we'll start off with MCU darling Chris Hemsworth. He's known for playing the MCU's Thor, but he made headlines this year when he called out a whole group of MCU actors. Specifically those that do Marvel movies and then go on to complain about them if they don't reach high levels of success. The actor didn't call out anybody specifically, and this situation has happened too many times to actually pin anybody to the crime. During an interview with the Times of London, Hemsworth shared his thoughts, saying, "It's like, they're films that are successful, put me in one. Oh, mine didn't work? I'll bash them." And it used to bother me when actors would later talk about the show with guilt or shame, finishing with, "Humility goes a long way." With the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, Wesley Snipes' Blade is not technically in the MCU, but he is Marvel adjacent, and that is close enough for me. It's a widely known fact that Snipes did not get along with his Blade 3 co-star Ryan Reynolds. Snipes was very serious on that set, and Ryan, like most movie he does, was anything but serious. In fact, he would apparently take every opportunity he could to try and make Snipes break character, or just do some improv. Either way, the two men didn't see eye to eye on that set, but thankfully patched things up so Snipes can make that epic cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. Which, speaking of, the MCU adjacent stars of that movie, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, have also had a long-running feud, the kind that one can only have with their best friend. Years of pranks and fun roasts that go so far back the two can't even remember how it all started. One thing is for sure, these two are in it together and can bounce back from any argument. One Marvel feud I hold near and dear to my heart is Anthony Mackie and Tom Holland's constant battle. Truly, this is top tier for me. There are no roasts quite like the ones that come from your own friends. Every opportunity Anthony Mackie gets to attack Holland's name, he takes it. Now, while it's tough to really pinpoint when this feud kicked off, I would say that the 2018 Ace Comic Con panel is a good place to start. I would argue the place to start.
You haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming?
So at this point, Tom Holland is talking about working on Spider-Man Homecoming, and Anthony Mackie says, "Oh, he should watch this movie." Tom Holland is shocked and offended that his coworker has yet to see his Spider-Man in action, and sharing his disbelief of the fact, much to the enjoyment of the crowd. Holland doesn't take this disrespect and dishes out, "I haven't seen the Falcon movie, oh, wait, there isn't one," and then the crowd goes wild. That was over 6 years ago, and the friendly feud is still holding strong. Just a few months ago at Comic-Con International, Anthony Mackie was doing press for Captain America Brave New World with the whole cast, including Harrison Ford. Mackie couldn't contain his excitement at having the veteran actor join the cast, and he also couldn't resist rubbing his win in Tom Holland's face. The actor shouted, "That's Harrison Ford! Tell Tom Holland I got Harrison Ford!" before running around the stage and being chased by Han Solo President Ross himself. Not only does Holland like Star Wars, but Peter Parker does too, and Holland even auditioned to play Finn in the latest film, so there's a lot of layers to this.
The reason why I didn't get the role, I think John Boyega was just better for the role than me.
Throughout the past 6 years, the actors have teased each other so much, people have made compilation videos, and I hope their feud stays strong throughout their time in the MCU and even after. If Anthony Mackie is your enemy though, then by default Sebastian Stan is too. It's just the rules. The bromance is strong with those two. Tom Holland not only has to worry about Mackie now, but Stan as well. Poor kid. He's actually older than me, but whatever. Much like the feud between Mackie and Holland, Stan's roasts are not as serious as they might sound. He might be saying that Holland's ego is so big it's throwing off everything's balance, but he's really just saying that this is a good kid, I think.
Tom's throwing it off balance every day.
Because he's the littlest guy.
He might sigh and go on a tangent when he hears Holland's name, but it's gotta be out of love. It's all fun and games, and I do hope they keep playing because I'm personally having a really good time. I just know that Don Cheadle hated Mark Ruffalo when he let it slip that everybody dies in Avengers Infinity War. Do I believe that while on set during the day-to-day that Marvel's War Machine and Hulk have a feud? No, of course not. However, you cannot deny that the look Cheadle gave Ruffalo after his spoiler slip-up was loaded with the fury of 1,000 suns.
So you see this next one, everybody dies.
Dude.
Not everybody. No.
I love This interview, Mark Ruffalo is known for being pretty open and honest, which is a quality we love, but the MCU doesn't when it's trying to surprise its fans at every turn. So clearly, Don Cheadle has been paired with Ruffalo to try and stop him from giving away plot details. Not only did this plan not work, it failed spectacularly. Ruffalo didn't just say a little spoiler like Steve gets a beard or something like that. No, he spoiled the end of the movie. I think we all remember the shocking end to that movie, right? Well, if you don't, here's how Ruffalo told it. Wait till you see this next one, everybody dies. Don Cheadle tried to stop him, but he just wasn't quick enough, and the look of fear on both of their faces is so funny.
No? Hey, whatever.
Can we rewind that part?
Yeah, can we? You'll cut that.
That's
part.
not.
Ooh, is there anybody in Infinity?
Poor Ruffalo is trying to backtrack and asking if he's in trouble because, well, that was the worst thing he could have said. But as luck would have it, no one believed him. This particular interview at the time didn't go super viral. It was just like a random D23 interview. It wasn't until after the movie came out and half the Avengers were dusted that everyone went back and went, oh, he was right. Don Cheadle actually spoke about this moment on Jimmy Kimmel Live later on. Turns out no one from Marvel came after the pair for the slip-up, but Cheadle did joke that Ruffalo was done talking to the media. Not just for Marvel, but any movie, because he might talk about a Marvel movie.
Marvel films?
Jeff Bridges plays the OG MCU villain Obadiah Stane, but didn't initially love the experience. Recently, he revealed that in the beginning of the production process for Iron Man, he wasn't having a lot of fun and found himself more frustrated than anything else. While he recognized the talent of fellow actors Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau, he found the manner in which the movie was being made to be a bit chaotic. The script was being thrown around, out, and even changed in the moment, leading to lots of frustration. Bridges shared that at a certain point, so it didn't drive him crazy, he switched the way he was looking at the situation, telling Vanity Fair that he reminded himself of the $200 million paycheck he was getting, and there's nothing like millions of dollars to make someone just relax. My comfort Marvel feud would have to be that of RDJ and Chris Evans during the Civil War promotional era, and honestly, even after sometimes. So as many of you probably know, Captain America Civil War heavily advertised that this movie was the Avengers fighting each other. There's more to it, but that's the baseline. The leaders of the two sides were Captain America, Chris Evans, and Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. As part of the press tour, these two really played into the feud that they brought from the screen to real life. Probably the most famous real-life battle between these two was over the last donut with red, white, and blue sprinkles. Even the Scarlet Witch, who was in the background, was scared about what Cap would do after Iron Man defiantly took a bite out of that treat. The fighting was carried out in person, in the movies, and even on social media. It was a lot of fun for those that were tuned in at the time. Now, it's almost a decade later and they are still ready to tussle. A recent video featured many prominent MCU stars, including of course Evans and Downey Jr. RDJ suggested that a catchphrase was needed, to which Evans chimes in with his classic, "I could do this all day." RDJ is quick and vicious with his response, shooting that idea down.
Off the top of my head, I can do this all day.
Shut up.
I hate it. Okay.
I mean, it's original, but...
Civil War feud, you are the gift that keeps on giving and is still giving all these years later. An earlier MCU feud in RDJ's career was allegedly a bit more serious than what he has going on with Evans. It's been widely reported that the original roadie, Terrance Howard, and RDJ experienced some tension in their friendship while talks for the second Iron Man installment were happening. For the first Iron Man, Howard was apparently paid more than Downey because Downey was considered the risk of the movie since he was a talented actor with a tumultuous past. However, after his success in the role, the studio decided to pay RDJ more for the second film since he was the star, and then as a side character, Howard would receive less. The problem with this was Howard was allegedly promised that he would make more on the next movie, but then his role was cut down considerably and just overall was set to make less than he made with the first movie, and that just didn't go over well with the actor. This is why Marvel recasted to Don Cheadle. Howard has spoken up about his frustration of how the situation was handled, most notably in his 2015 interview with Rolling Stone. He claimed he called RDJ for help at the time but didn't get a response. He even said, "And guess who got the millions I was supposed to get? He got the whole franchise, so I've actually given him $100 million, which ends up being $100 million lost for me, trying to look after somebody." But he said he would do it again as it's in his nature. Natalie Portman is also widely reported to have had less than a pleasant experience with an MCU co-worker, but it might have less to do with that person than it does with the decisions that came from the top top. For Thor's sequel, The Dark World, the original director was Patty Jenkins, someone that Portman was apparently very excited to work with. Her involvement would have made Thor 2 the first MCU film directed by a woman, so Portman was more than just on board, she was driving the bus. However, everything soon came to a screeching halt when Jenkins left the movie and was replaced by Alan Taylor. The direction Jenkins wanted to take the sequel just apparently didn't align with Marvel's plans, so the two parted. Portman was allegedly so upset that she only stayed in the movie due to contract obligations. It's likely that Portman wasn't mad at Taylor for taking on the film, it just wasn't an ideal situation for anyone. Portman was notably absent for Thor 3, but not for Thor 4 More Thor, so the MCU relationship must have been patched up somewhere in the last decade. But what do you think? Let us know, and if you want more Marvel-related drama, check out Marvel actors who ruin the MCU with their acting. We dive into the questionable choices the MCU and other past Marvel movies have made in the casting department. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!